Hello, and welcome to a new video. Vegas is not so far away, so around 1.5 weeks to go, not even. So I will be there in around 150 hours, a little bit more. Um, and yeah, because my Lambda sharing video did quite well and got good feedback from you, thank you for that. I will share also today my esport macros. So I also have a few, but super not so much. So super few esport macros, and I will show you those macros now. Um, yeah, and I will do this at the example of an esports case. In this case, Sommelier by Peter Shaw, one of my most favorite cases. But yeah, the case doesn't matter in this case. That was a rare. So let's start right. So I have in total 6 macros dedicated to esports. I have a ton of other different VBA stuff, but nothing that useful in an esports context. I also solved, for example, back in the days, some MACC cases with VBA, but when you know data tables, you do not need VBA and you can solve it quite quickly with data tables. And yeah, so VBA in the sports context isn't that useful, at least what I thought. But currently, sometimes, someday, there will be a case where it isn't solvable with VBA. I can only imagine, I cannot imagine how this would be, but yeah, we will see. So here, 6 lambdas. I also translated everything that was German before into English. I hope I have also found everything here, but it looks like that. Also, sometimes I know I'm not a coder, so my code isn't a proper code with like good naming and commentation and that stuff. So I've never learned coding by heart. I learned it along the way and more like autodidactic. So please um, be gracious with me. So far, so good. And also a huge disclaimer. If you intend to use these macros, you should know, and if you do not know this by now, you should not use those macros. You should know that you can't use Control Z with macros. When you use a VBA macro, you cannot undo. And it could also be the case that it can destroy everything. And I say this full stop. It can destroy everything. So please be very careful and do not use anything that you do not know. So with the lambdas I've shared, you can only destroy your formula or get a wrong answer. But with an VBA code, you can destroy your whole sheet and much more. So please be super careful. Yeah, and for that, also, for example, here in macro, it's macro attention answer copy lambda rest delete. This is a macro I've created specifically for MACC cases because at the, I think, FMW3 MACC round, I had problems because my file was too large. I don't know why it was too large, but somehow it was like, I think, 40 megabytes in the end. So it started with like, we got a file empty with like 2 megabytes and later it was 40. I don't know how, but never know. And then the expert portal wasn't sufficient to handle it. So I submitted like 15 minutes too late and therefore got a lot of um, points abstracted. Otherwise, I would have also came in with a good position. But never mind, I was qualified before. So yeah, and therefore I created this lambda, and it will copy the current worksheet you are in, but only the values, and delete everything else, so that you only have the answers. But it isn't applicable for like MAWC cases because and then you put your answers in there and the file only at the end, and normally the files aren't that large with multiple cases and so on. So this lambda I will not use here in this example. Yeah. And so to say, normally with the esport in the esport context, I do the following. I open this file. I normally open also my Lambda file, but this isn't necessary. And then you normally download from the internet. You download your case file, and then the case file is the most recent file in your download folder. So as currently, it's the most recent file here. And then I click either Control A, I think it's Control A. Sorry, this was the wrong button. Options, Control Shift A, or I click Control Shift L. So when I click Control Shift L, my Lambda library, and my Lambda library is always named the same and is always every time in the download folder because I often use it. Will copy my Lambda file in this case file, which is then the most recent file in this folder. And with Control Shift A, this is my start point. It's a call which will call this lambda and the lambda copy to case lambda. And the first thing was not lambda macro. The first thing was the selection for bonus setup. So as you know, you sometimes need to use this stuff for bonus questions, and I have a lambda for this, but I also have a macro for this, and I should have used the macro more often. So when I click here, Control Shift A, so my start thing, then two things will happen. I don't know why I landed in the lambda thing here, but okay, that was a fail. Okay. It was a fail. I don't know why. Okay, I have my lambdas open. Okay, you should have your lambdas open, should you? Does not have to be open. Okay. We will see. Control Shift A. Okay, now so it should be open. Sorry for that. I thought it do not need to be open. But what I did here, and this is like you will lose some time. So I download the case, I open the case, I click Control Shift A, and then my lambdas are here, the file, and also why is the calculation mode manual? I don't know. And always here all those lambdas, and also there's here this hard-coded bonus kind of thing. So here the case number, and here the level, and here what is this? The points, and then so it's like also with this empty stuff and so on. You could do this that you delete here, for example, this stuff, but then I would start here from F and so on to use this. But it is adaptable and will not have here, for example, blanks because it's copying yeah, only the values in here. So and then I could use here a lambda for most of value in area, for example, for level 1. Yeah. Okay, in this case it doesn't make sense, but you never know. So, and this is like my start. So copying like my lambdas in and do this bonus setup. This bonus setup you can also do like independently with Control Shift B, I think. But let me check this. Yeah, Control Shift B. But you can adjust this as you wish. You should always know then yeah what you do there. And you should have your lambda file open. I didn't knew that, but in the environment there at the finals you cannot do this because your lambda file will be at a different folder and so on. So this is only like for normal procedures, and you should know where to yeah what is the code in the background and the backbone is doing. And then I have two other lambdas. So here the start lambda we have talked about, the copy to case lambda we have talked about, the selection bonus lambda we've talked about. This we do not use. Two other lambdas, the turn selected cells into color code. This is super useful with other stuff, not with the current stuff here, but yeah. Okay, this doesn't make sense. This makes sense with maps and so on, but here we can also apply it here. Control Shift C it is. Yeah. So in this case, this is like the, I think hex. No, it isn't hex, but somehow a color code. I think it was from Bo. And it will also work with like shaded stuff. So Control Shift C will also work with this here. So yeah, I think the actual thing was from Bo, and as I told you, there is a macro out from dim, but it's only working for not shaded stuff. And as you know, there was like a election case a few years ago where they had like crazy formatting, and yeah, this will also work with shading here. So the cell color lambda. So it looks also like not programmed with me because there are like all this great formatting here. But yeah, you see here also different code here, a different code. So yeah, and then you can use this code, for example, on a map to. I can quickly show you this. Uh, Sorry, this is kind of messy, and I should not overwrite here. Empty treasure hunt. What makes sense? Deep sea diving. No, I think centers here. I should remember to not save this later. Here we have a map, for example, and when I do here um, Control Shift C, should enable editing. Um, Control Shift C here, and then apply there for example, the most of lambda, uh, most of value area. So copy this in here, equals mo m. I've copied this in here. Ah, I shouldn't have Control Shift V. I should have Control Shift V. And most of value in area. Count most value. So here then I can say, oh, here I have that much land, that much cities, I guess. No, it's water and that much cities. So many, sorry, not much. Yeah, so to do this, you can use this. But more better for this would be like a robot command code, but I'm not into it right now. So, but this is a good example for a command code where you could do like a VBA code and then a lambda and so on. Yeah, this would be nice. I I should go more into that stuff, but yeah, didn't have the time currently. And then here, turn selected cells in the color code, and then I think the most used lambda from myself. So often, so it was the most used, but now I'm turning more into like single cell approaches. But before I used a lot data tables, and I saw always I think it is a pre-prepared sheet from Lorenzo. He always has a wonderful pre-prepared sheet. It's called Slushy or something. And here I thought, oh, why shouldn't I do this with like a macro? And I created a macro, and the case I did then 2 days later was my best case. I came in on position 13. It was the Klinsmann case, I think. And since then I love this lambda. So I've used it also there. It's for creating data tables, and my old lambda was a little bit more, yeah, not so adaptable, but you will see this now. So if I click Control Shift D, then it will ask me in which level from which level I want to create a data table. In this case, I want to have it for level 2. And then it will create here the data table. Here is the level. Here is the X lookup for example 2. for the answer, XLOOKUP for the answer, that I have always the answer for the example there, or for the um, yeah, for the select. Also, sometimes you may have an error there. If you see I have an error there, for example, or want to check it, why there is like an hashtag error there, and then you can yeah, see this, for example, there. And here I have adaptable. So if I change the level, this will also change. So like the header will change, and also here this lookup stuff will change, because I can do this then for level, or for like example 23. And yeah, I also have here like adaptable based on the level my input thing, my input game number input. And yeah, then I do my thing here, create here my stuff and my calculations. Then I have a single cell as a result. I put in there here equal sign result, put in the data table here around, and then here this is then my interchangeable cell, and this all will work. And now why is everything adaptable with this level? Because with this cell here, so that this is based on this cell, that the header is based on this cell, and here also the no, not the XLOOKUP selection, but yeah, at least those two parts are selectable, um, dependable. This is because my first lambda was like only rigid to the, it was like not so fluent. I always had there not an offset function there, but it was like only usable for the level you created it for. So when you then copied it to use your stuff you've built there for another level, you need to adjust here this stuff and also the header and so on. But then I thought, oh, when I want to use this, for example, for level 3, so you know, you can do this here, or you can here control shift and drag it. So here level 3. Then I only need to adapt here 3, bam, and here level example 3, bam. And you can start there with your then created calculation stuff you can build on from level 2. Therefore, this is like, yeah, super useful, I think, and the most used macro I have there. So you see, I will also put this file in the description, but please stay. I will not be chargeable for anything it will destroy when you're using it. So please be cautious. And here, otherwise, thank you for attention. And here, I will probably not have the time to step into a robot command before the finals, but afterwards it's planned to go into the more into this direction. And until Vegas, I will do a lot of training. I always need to do a lot of for the qualification cases. I didn't had the time to do so, but yeah, now or never is the time to do it. And then I hope to see most of you, or as many of you, in Vegas as possible. So, see you in Vegas, guys. Ciao.